Hey gang, we're back. Okay, so I'm to the point that I want to start putting panel lines on. Very first thing, first and foremost, is make sure that the surface is absolutely perfect, flaw-free, all that kind of stuff, because once you put the panel lines on, you don't want to be fixing all that kind of stuff and then end up sanding off your panel lines or anything. So I've got this just about as good as it can possibly be. I went through with some 600 grit sandpaper. Probably didn't need to do that, but anyways, I just wanted to make sure that there were no imperfections and everything. One thing that you can do is you can look when you're sanding, you'll get like little darker spots or whatever. Those are going to be the low spots, and that's where when you know you need to fill in an area. So these little areas here on the edges that I sanded down, that's no biggie, because when we put on our primer, after we put on our tape, that'll get covered up. So I'm trying to do this as light as possible, and I'm getting better, and so that's one of the things, is I'm trying not to put too much primer on when I do this. So here's the drawing that I got with the panel lines and everything. We're going to be focusing in on these panel lines here and these panel lines here. These are actually rivets, which I may attempt. We'll kind of have to see how it goes. I gotta kind of play that one by ear. That's a lot of effort, but I mean, it looks super awesome if I go ahead and do that. But right now we're just going to focus on this and this. So the very first thing that I'm looking at, I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm not going to use, you know, a ton of measurements and stuff. I'll get one wing done, and then I can actually transfer the measurements over to the other side when we get there. So the very first line that we're going to attempt, I put the aileron on here for kind of a reference, and I was thinking that this line right here was the top of the aileron, but it's actually not. If you look back here where these access panels are on the model, you can't really see it good on the video, but those access panels are right here, and then there's a panel line, and it's going to connect up with that panel line. So if we connect that down, you can see it's actually right about there, not there. So, and that will mean that we're going to have to put in these little hinges here, or hinge lines on our panel lines. So anyway, what we're going to be using is this chart pack graphic tape. This is 32nd inch wide, so I could have got even thinner, but I think it would have been difficult to use. And this looks to be pretty darn close to the same thickness as or width, I should say, as what the yellow aircraft use. So let's go ahead and try that first line here. Never actually used this particular kind of tape before. I've always used masking tape. So okay, so I'm going to start where I know the panel line is. Actually, I'm going to make a quick reference down here. Oh, actually, this will be real easy. Right here, the panel line actually goes down, and then from there goes back. So all I need to do, I don't even need to make a drawing. I was going to put a little line right there, but I can just connect it up right with that. So if you look at the drawing, it goes all the way past that lip and then up to the fuselage side. So that makes it real easy. Okay, I'm just going to pull it taut here, and right about there. Perfect. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like this stuff. Okay, our next panel line, we're going to do this one that's further inside the wing there because it connects up with another panel line that already exists on the fuselage. So we'll go ahead and get that one and go from there. It's actually going to be the second panel line back. And I did measure the small, the drawing that we're using, and it does go back about 1/3 of the way. So, oops. Okay, now there's going to be 2 more. For right now, I'm just going to make that a straight line. We're not going to worry about these little hinge lines just yet. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that straight line up here. So let's go ahead and get those knocked out. You know what? I think this one needs to be a little bit further forward. Okay, one more. That looks good. Alright, so let me zoom in here for you. You can kind of see. Alright, so and there we go. I'm going to pan up here. And everything looks to be the right proportions and everything, so I'm going to go ahead and snip this little bit off here. I am going to kind of measure a little bit to see about where the little hinges need to be. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do that, mark it with pencil on the plane there, and then I'll meet you at that next step on the video. Okay guys, we're back. I jumped ahead just a little bit. I went ahead and I put the first of the front row panel lines, the little cross ones there. They're at a 90 degree to the to that front panel line there. Might not look like it on the video here, but just the angle that we're shooting at. But anyways, so what this does is it kind of establishes where we need to put the others. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. Okay, so you can see all those. I guess the big take home here is that the distance between here and here, here and here, here and here, and then on the edge, it gets progressively smaller and smaller. I tried to kind of eyeball it, took some back and forths of moving these around. Once you get them down, you can kind of peel them up with the X-Acto knife and then move them how you need to. So anyways, if you look at our picture here, hope you can see that here. I can't see. There we go. Okay, so if you look at the picture here where we have these lines, I put down that one, that one, that one, and that one. So now it's easy to kind of eyeball. We know that this line here is going to be a little bit to the right of that. This line is going to actually be a little bit to the left. This line a little bit to the left. This line a little bit to the right. So that gives us kind of a foundation to start. So that's why I spent a lot of time getting these right so that we can at least get these next ones right. So I'll show you the quote-unquote technique that I was using for this. So alright, let's go ahead and do this panel line. Alright, what I'm doing is I'll kind of take that end of the tape there, and the furthest panel line back is where I'll kind of connect that. So I'm going to go ahead, and this one's just a little bit over. So let's say there. Okay, I'm going to pull it tight so it's straight and push it down. You want to make sure that it's at a 90 degree to that line. Okay, so once you've done that, what I'm doing is kind of cut into it with your X-Acto. Don't worry if it picks up a little bit there, and then you can just pull back. So now you need to go in with your X-Acto knife and kind of lift it up a little bit. Okay, and then once you're happy with it, just push it down and it'll be good to move on to the next. Okay, this one doesn't look like it. We're not satisfied with that yet. Okay, let's try again. Alright, I think that works. Now, let's go to the next one. And this one's just a little bit to the left. There we go. Alright, that one turned out pretty good. And the next one, this one's going to be also just a little bit to the left, not quite as much. Come on. There we go. Alright. And we've got one more, and this one is quite a bit over from that line. In fact, it's about there. There we go. Okay, so we've got all of these little guys going here. So the big thing we need to look at now is how are we going to do these hinges. I think what we'll do is basically lay down a square. Yeah, actually that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, if you take a look, we can basically set up a little bit of a grid here. Sorry, there we go. So basically what I'm going to do is make this just a completed square with a couple lines going through it, so it'll actually look like 2, 3. It'll actually look like 3 squares, and then all we need to do is cut out that side, and that side. So the ones that have 3 little hinges here, basically we'll do the exact same thing, and then we just cut out that. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay it down to show you what I mean, and we'll see how that's gonna work.